Namaste, welcome everybody to Shaman Garden. Katka here. I'm going to continue this video as in the previous video that I spoke about empath, about the sensitive people. So I'm going to continue the talk here. I have wrote some points that I would love to share with you, which help me on my personal path as an empath, as a sensitive being in this world, and how to turn the sensitivity into a great gift, into a great tool that you can use. So the first point is to really remember, as I mentioned in the last video, that the empath can compare to a sponge system, like that you really have the ability to soak in the environment, to soak in. And because of this absorbing quality we have, we need to keep the sponge clear. So imagine if you are a sponge, and if somebody spills something on the floor, we sucking it in, right? And like more we sucking into our bodies, the heavier we feel. So when you visualize a sponge really heavy, full of water, so this is how an empath feels when it's drained, when it's loaded, when it's too much. That's those days where you lie down and cannot do anything, where you are exhausted. So the first step is to keep the sponge clear and soft and light. So then the second part is, this was to clear your inner space regularly with difficult techniques. When you are overloaded like this, when you feel the sponge is full up, you very easily not feeling yourself. So that's also very important that you always remember to see it from the sponge view, that this is not you, this is you just filled up with energy. You need to take yourself aside and clear it and come back to finding yourself again. Second point is that an empath, a sensitive person, is born without no boundaries. We are like literally have no any shell, any layer of protection. So our energy body is constantly being walked around, open and exposed, fully exposed. So we can absorb and do our inner clearing. We are like walking trees on the planet and filtrating the environment through our system, through our very strong energy body system. So that's why, because we don't have boundaries, we miss boundaries. We feel very often we need to add a layer of protection, so we don't allow the feel anymore, and all this too much around us. And that can happen that we create this layer by using any substances, which will put this layer around you. It can be anything from food to any substances that makes you not feel anymore, or to feel in a certain way you need to feel. So this is also a very important point, and any empath comes in contact with anything like this, that you need to have your boundaries. And in this period where you feel overloaded and exhausted, you might see that this sensitive person needs to withdraw, needs to have their space. So we usually stay home those days and work through the clearing. And it reminds me this of when I've been a small girl, and I'm very sensitive, and if something in our family went out of the balance, like for example somebody got angry or sad, or there was some kind of conflict going on, I was having it on me for many days after. I was just I felt so much compassion for the situation, and I wanted to help it, and I wanted to change it, to solve it so it doesn't repeat again. And I remember that everybody around me was just moving on and said, why are you still talking about it? But this is how we function. We want to solve it, we feel it too much. So it becomes very deep in us. So that's also a good point to remember, that we just want to help. So we need to also learn to say no in this way, to set our boundary, to know when to say no, where you also have to protect yourself and put yourself in the first place. So saying no and taking care of your inner space. So this was the second point. And then the third one, how to clean it. So in the beginning you need to study it. You need to just learn about how your body functions, that it's different from maybe somebody else. So you need to study and learn, logically understand what's going on. And that's why I use the example of the sponge. So you can always visualize it when you feel like it, so you know what to do with it. It needs some clearing. So it's a very beneficial to do some inner work, some mental work. So like the shadow work, where you work through the inner load and what we have, and clear it out. And it can be a little difficult in the beginning before you know it, and you might need some help or video like this, and learn it and practice it and keep it clean, your environment, your inner environment. Later, your awareness, when you start to connect to the aware part of you, the natural presence of you in the body will automatically clear away anything. So you just need to be aware, and that will automatically turn the self-clearing system in you. It's a self-regulating mechanism we have, and self-clearing. So that will happen when you start to be aware of all this potential you have within. And then the fourth thing is that the empath, because we not only absorb the environment, but because of our the senses, the sensory systems are so receptive, we easily connect to the different dimensions and not physical realities, and that can be very weird. And I'm sure many of you as empaths experience these weird things that are not from this world. We easily tap into the energy part with non-physical reality. So here I would really recommend to study it and to ground yourself, to use anything that grounds you. For example, to use the bare feet on the earth, and to connect to the nature, and to connect with the meditation and with the earth, and communicate with it. It also help here to logically study and understand that there are different realities surrounding us, and we as a collective consciousness in the world are moving into the higher dimension. So this is all part of it. This was the fourth part. The next part is that we are also emptying and easily connect to our inner stuff. So to all of that, like memory, you have the cellular memory, and a lot of things being encoded in you since you have been small, and your family load and karma is in the memory body and in your mind as a program, and all this is very easily coming in contact, in your close contact, in a connection in an empath person. The other people have the ability to push it away, to disconnect. Empath is constantly feeling it, ready to be clear out. We have this clearing system, so you feel that anything that might be not accepted, not solved from the childhood, wants to be solved, wants to go. So periodically it comes up to the surface to be clear out. So it's very important that you understand that you can integrate it back together to the place, to the better place. It just waits to be understood and integrated. So again, inner work, and then I will post some techniques in the future about this more detailed. You can slowly deprogram all this. And because it's important, because within you there is a lot of light, there is also a lot of positive things which wants to shine on. We are constantly connected to this higher dimension within each sensitive being, and that wants to express itself. So also it's very important that you come and regularly practice the self-expression in any way you need. You can express both of the heavy part of you through the art, through yoga, meditation, or anything that you move your body. Or you can also express the positive part of you, something you want to express to the world and make the world more beautiful by your expression. So the last note would be, it would be good for an empath to accept that you are like this. This is who you are. We need to just learn to understand it, even though that in the beginning it is uncomfortable to be such a sponge and exposed energetically, but as you learn about your gift, you will truly like enjoy it. It is a great feeling. You just need to go within and find that spark, that part in you, which is solid and strong. And as you start to remove the load and finding balance into absorbing and expressing and releasing, you become stronger and stronger in your core, in that light that, and every empath has very powerful. And then you can like remember to turn your attention always to the sponge, to this practice, so you don't forget about it. There will be the moments where you forget about all this, that you are the sensitive being and you have some work to do. You just need to remember, and it will be easier and easier to take this new identity for real and use it in your life and make your life more beautiful thanks to this, and also help many others on your way. So I would love to wish you a beautiful day, and I hope you can use this, and please comment below, and if you have some experience by being a sensitive person, so please share it with me. Namaste.